Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So people always want to know, what brands do I pick up to resell online? What are my favorite brands? Well, today in this episode, we're going to talk about specifically golf. As you can see, I'm on a golf course, and in the spring and summer and all year round, golfing is one of my favorite clothing brands to pick up and resell online. So today I'm going to actually specifically talk about men's polo shirts. We're going to talk about the good and the ugly. So I'm also going to take you into the pro shop and show you what they have for sale at the end of this video. Let's go. Here we are back at my house with the inventory behind me. Of course, I'm going to wear a golf hat because we're talking about golf polos. All the golf polos I talk about today are good polos to wear, but we're here to talk about reselling. And now I am a full-time reseller, and I've been reselling since 2015. So I know a thing or two about selling golf polos. Before we get into the list, every polo I'm talking about is in used condition, and we're going to put a buying price at $5. So you're going to pay $5 as your buying price for each one of these polos. Also, another caveat is all of these polos have to be a polyester blend. None of them cotton. They have to have some sort of polyester performance blend to make the list. So being a former PE teacher, I loved playing red light, green light with the kids. So with these series, I'm going to do the same thing. We're going to play green light, yellow light, red light. Red light means no go. Yellow means maybe. Green means for sure go. So let's start out with the brands that I do not pick up to resell online. Most things I resell, I have to make a $10 minimum profit to pick up. And these are the polos I don't pick up. Let's start out with Walter Hagen. Walter Hagen makes some really nice patterns, and sometimes they'll fool you as a really good polo to resell, but they just don't have a very good sell-through rate, and their sold comps are not good. So Ashworth is another brand that I don't pick up. It looks a lot like the Peter Millars, and you have that polyester blend. Even with that polyester blend, there's not enough meat on the bones to pick it up. A few more brands I don't pick up are Cutter and Buck, Greg Norman, and PGA Tour. Unfortunately, all of these brands are just not worth picking up. The sell-through rate's not there, and as a sold comp for a used condition, paying $5, I'm not picking any of these up. There are a lot of brands on this list that I'm not going to mention that you see often. Nike, Adidas, Puma, Under Armour. I'm not going to name any of those brands. These are brands that are in the wild that you might not know about, but they are out there. There are also some brands that are very high end or you don't see very often. I'm not going to name those brands either. With all reselling, there's exceptions to everything. No different with golf polos. Some of them have course logos on them or company logos that can either make or break the polo. So there's always an exception. Keep that in mind. Here's yellow light. So caution, right? Yellow light means caution. So with these polos, I have a little bit of caution. I don't always pick these up. If they have a bland color or if they're a little bit outdated, sometimes I don't pick them up. But if they have a really cool pattern or a newer version, I will definitely pick them up. So these are the yellow light. The yellow light section has 5 golf polos. Many of these used to be for sure getters, but now some of them have kind of fallen off as time goes on, while new polos have come out and taken their place. Let's talk about FootJoy. So if FootJoy has a really awesome, cool pattern, I would pick it up for sure at $5. But if it's bland or really long and stretched out, I'll pass on that FootJoy. I would say Johnny O is at the top of my yellow light list. I pick it up almost every time, especially if it's the prep performance. Johnny O has really cool colorways, stripes, patterns. I love picking up Johnny O. It usually sells for $20 or more for me, plus buyer pay shipping. These next 2 brands used to be super hot about 3 or 4 years ago. So about in 2018-19, these used to be 2 hot brands, RLX and Travis Mathew. Those were the brands that you can find very often, and when you did, it was like a honey hole, right? Those brands are starting to get super saturated. They're selling at the discount stores like TJ Maxx and Marshalls. So those brands are the brands that sometimes I pick up, sometimes I don't. It just depends on the pattern. You can look them up and look up comps yourself. Well, here's a tip, especially with Johnny O or any stripe pattern. I always want to do the sun fade test. So if you're going out and you find a polo, you get the top of the shoulder and then the bottom of the hem and match the stripes up together. If the top is super faded and the bottom has solid colors, that means it's really sun faded, or more than likely your buyer's not going to be happy. This final yellow light brand is a brand I hardly ever pick up Unless I find multiples together, I might lot them as a group. But Donald Ross, for some reason, just don't do well for me. They have a really good material. They look like they should be a very expensive polo, but the comps and the sell-through rate aren't there. All right, let's go green light. So all of these green light brands I pick up for sure at $5 if they're in good condition. Let's start off with one of my favorites, Roebuck. One of my favorite brands to find out in the wild is Roebuck. Whenever I find Roebuck for $5, it's an automatic pickup, especially if it's in good condition. You'll know it because it has a little dog as their logo, and usually the patterns are awesome, and they have a little flag on the back of the neck that tells you it's their signature Roebuck symbol. If you're lucky enough to find G4 in the wild for $5, you gotta pick it up. G4 is a super hot brand. It hasn't been on the market for very long, just like Roebuck, so I always pick it up when I see it for $5. They come in all sorts of colorways, stripes, really cool patterns. I love picking that brand up. Grayson is a really cool brand to find right now. They have a little wolf logo somewhere on the shirt, and the styles and colorways are awesome. I've been seeing them out on the golf course when I watch the PGA events. I see the pro players wearing them all over their shirts. Grayson is a for sure pickup for $5. This next golf brand has wacky patterns just like the person it's named after, William Murray. William Murray golf polos have really wacky golf patterns, and they usually sell for like $50 or more. So for $5, when I find a William Murray, I'm always super stoked, and I pick them up, of course. Masters Tech is a brand for sure to pick up, but don't be fooled because Masters have a lot of polos that are just cotton. You want to get the Masters Tech. Again, that's the polyester blend ones, but they also have stripes and really cool patterns. They always sell for more than $30 for me, so for $5, I always pick them up in good condition. I think we all know what the last green light brand is. That's Peter Millar. Peter Millar is such a unique brand. I've found Peter Millar ever since I've been reselling in 2015, and they're so unique because some of them sell for around $20, and some of them can sell up to almost $200 depending on if it's a tour player, polo, or whatever. You have to look online at sold comps, and you can see all the different types that sell for all the different kinds of money. But Peter Millar in a polyester blend is a super great polo to pick up. I told you at the beginning of the video, I snuck into the pro shop, which I did. I wanted to go in and look at all the polos that are selling new right now in 2023 to give me an idea of what to look for. Now, you're gonna see a similar common theme for all of these polos. Let's go check it out. When I walked in, I noticed right away that all of the polos had really cool patterns to them. Not like patterns I'm used to seeing in the past. Yes, there were some striped ones like on these Johnny O's, but most of them had these unique all over print patterns. Here's a Peter Millar, pretty high priced, over $100, but again, a really cool pattern. Another one with some really cool patterns. Here's that Yellow Light FootJoy brand. This one particularly has that all over print that I would definitely pick up. Another one has a stripe print that I might leave behind. Here are a couple golf polo brands that have a really good sell-through rate, but you just don't see them very often. Again, the common theme are cool patterns. As always, being a teacher, I like to teach, and I hope you learned a few things from this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. And if you have any questions at all, I will answer them if you leave them in the comments below. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.